All right, let's get into the story behind a book that's about so much more than just cigars. It's about bridging oceans with passion and smoke. We're talking about Cueto, the Guinness Roller, a really fascinating tale about craftsmanship, friendship, and the very soul of Cuban tobacco.
You know, this line from the book's prologue, it just sets the stage perfectly, doesn't it? It tells you right off the bat that we're not just dealing with a product here. We're talking about a kind of magic, an art form that tells a story. And this explainer, it's all about that legend.
So, every great story needs a hero on a quest, and ours begins in a place you might not expect, not in Cuba, but in France, with a man whose entire life is about to get turned upside down.
So this is Dantes. He's a successful businessman living the life in Paris, but he feels this pull, this deep connection to his Cuban roots, a world he only really knows through old family stories and the scent of his grandfather's cigars.
And this is where it gets really interesting. You've got this collision of two completely different worlds. On one side, Dantes, the modern European businessman, and on the other, Cueto, the timeless Cuban master craftsman. Their meeting is basically the engine that drives this whole incredible journey.
See, Dante's trip isn't just some whim. It's fueled by these almost mythical stories from his grandfather. He's not just looking for a cigar maker, he's looking for a magician, someone who can literally communicate with tobacco.
So Dantes' quest finally leads him to Havana. This is the moment of truth. He arrives at a place called La Triada, a workshop tucked inside an 18th century fortress where the master, Cueto, holds court. I mean, can you just imagine walking into a place where the air itself tells a story? The book describes it as a temple of tobacco. And sitting right there in the center is Cueto, the living legend Dantes has just crossed an ocean to meet.
So, what is it that really sets a master like Cueto apart? It's not just about having skilled hands or decades of practice. The secret, as Dantes is about to find out, is something much, much deeper.
And this quote, this is Cueto's whole philosophy in a nutshell. He doesn't see himself as a worker. He's more like a translator. He truly believes his job is just to listen to the story that each leaf has to tell and then help bring it to life.
And this is the core lesson, the soul of the leaves. For Cueto, a cigar isn't just an object. It's a narrative. It's like a symphony. And he's the conductor, helping each instrument, each individual leaf, play its part perfectly.
Now, of course, you can't talk about Cueto without talking about his Guinness World Records. But as the book shows us, these aren't just about making impossibly long cigars. No, each one is a deeply personal statement.
I mean, just look at these numbers. They're insane. Over 15 years, he just kept shattering his own records. And it all led up to this colossal 90-meter cigar in 2016. That is nearly the length of a football field. But this is where the story really gets you. Each one of those records was a dedication. They weren't about ego. They were acts of love and tribute for his grandfather, his wife, his country, and his fellow artisans.
The book just says it perfectly. He wasn't just rolling leaves, he was writing his heart into history, turning a technical feat into this beautiful, profound, artistic expression.
So then, the story builds to this incredible climax, where Dantes, the student, gets invited to become part of the master's most ambitious dream ever.
100 meters. Cueto proposes a final, definitive record. A cigar that wouldn't just break the previous one, but would stand as this huge statement of collaboration and friendship.
And the project itself is the ultimate symbol. A Franco-Cuban cigar, literally blending leaves from both their countries. It represents their shared friendship, and Dantes is given the huge honor of rolling the final record-setting meters.
And that's the moment right there. That's the pivot point. Dantes came to Cuba to find a legend, but through his own passion and respect, he becomes part of that legend, entrusted with its future.
But the story doesn't just end in Cuba. The real legacy, the real impact, is what happens next, when this whole experience gets carried back across the Atlantic. This is where the story's big theme really comes full circle. Dantes takes everything he learned, the technique, the philosophy, the soul of it all, and opens his own workshop in Paris. The spirit of Cuban tobacco finds a new home in a French heart, building a bridge based on pure passion.
So who's the person who brought this amazing story to life? The author, Dantes Cruz. And he seems like a pretty fascinating guy himself. He calls himself a constant learner, someone who's super passionate about Cuban culture, entrepreneurship, and just human resilience.
So for anyone who's captivated by this story, and how could you not be, the book is available on Amazon. And as a cool little testament to how authentic it is, it's even been adopted as study material for the Cigar Aficionado Academy.
And the book really leaves us with this final, powerful question. You know, in a world that can feel so divided, it's a beautiful thought that a shared passion for creating something perfect can actually connect us, turning oceans into bridges of friendship and respect.